Welcome back to another episode of Keoni Chats. My guest today is Justin Jones, and Justin and I have known each other for well over 10 years, and the only thing that has really changed in that time frame is his body size. He went from a skinny frame, 130-pound around-ish dude to a broad man with well over 200 plus pounds of muscle and always looking to challenge himself. But luckily, his personality hasn't changed. He's still that lovable, carefree guy that he can gravitate. People gravitate towards him, and they want to be around him just because of how funny he is, or just how much he smiles, how much he laughs, and how happy he is. We talk about this in the interview, but he has no reason to be upset, and I think that's what drew me to him. Is just we both have that mindset of just be happy as much as you can, because why not? And I like to think that some people have a friend or some family member that you can only have like one kind of conversation with, whether it's sports, TV, movies, pop culture, whatever. But you have those topic conversations with him or her, and you think that's all they want to talk about just because of how much they seem to be engaged in it. And then when you ask them something that's off script or off the topic or off the cusp, and they give you this very in-depth and very thoughtful answer, it throws you off because it just changes your image of them. That's how I felt this whole conversation with Justin. Not in a bad way, just because so much time has passed since him and I last spoke that you don't know. I know I've done a lot of growth since high school. So I wouldn't say I'm the same person I was back then, and I'm happy for that growth. And some people, they are such a great personality back in high school that you just hope they never change. Justin's one of those guys. He hasn't changed personality wise. He still smiles. He still laughs like crazy. And again, I mentioned this earlier, but it's fantastic. It's refreshing to just be around him. And I was also very interested to hear his opinions on the support that Portland is showing for the Black Lives Matter movement. So that is all I will say about the interview. I obviously don't want to spoil it all for you viewers and fans of the show in the intro, because that's just insane. But just a reminder that if you are fans of the DC universe, that I am working on a blog series review of all the DC animated movies. So since my last episode, I have seen the first of the 2015 films on my list, called Batman vs. Robin, and it is a continuation from Son of the Batman movie that was released in 2014. So it's starting to build up. They're starting to find little ways to expand on this universe, so that's always fun for me. And I know if you're watching this at home that Spider-Man's over my left shoulder. So I love Marvel. I love Marvel's early animated series, especially the Spider-Man series. That was amazing. But DC's where my heart at. So this is more of like my love for comics and superheroes. So yeah, whether you are streaming this interview through Spotify or iTunes, or you're watching this on YouTube through your computer or through the YouTube app on your phone, I hope you enjoyed my chat with Justin Jones. Wow.
Did it just die?
It had some technical difficulties because apparently the recording was on pause the whole time.
do you want to go back? Should we do it again? Run it back.
Run it back. Okay, so we're trying this again because Zoom decided to go on pause with the recording. So, oh, good Lord.
He's like 1 hour later.
I know at least we caught it sooner rather than an hour later when I hear a lot of good things. And I love what I've heard from you so far, but
for sure,
it's unfortunate that we have to one more time
do it again. It was a practice round. Exactly.
So to repeat myself again, which is unfortunate. So in not just society going on just in Portland, but like across the country, there's the Black
Hmm.
Lives Matter movement, and there's all these other movements coming out of the woodworks from Black Lives Matter. So
Hmm.
has one of the few Black people that I have shared high school and sports with, what are your feelings towards the movement, and where is it? Yeah, let's just start there. What's your feelings towards it?
What do we feel? I mean, I definitely feel what everyone else is feeling. I mean, obviously, this isn't a secret. It's all over the news worldwide. I would say I I love that people, individuals, any race, creed, religion, doesn't matter, are actually taking a stand and trying to help people understand that this world is, we're supposed to share it. We're supposed to be equal. I think that eventually that we will meet that, like one day, obviously not right now, but we will. The movement itself, it's powerful. I don't really agree with the rioting, the protesting. Yes, all the way. The destruction, I won't stand behind. I think that it is the exact opposite. We're looking for peace and equality, not assault and terrorism and vandalism and violence. Like that is not the movement that we're trying to accomplish. And it makes us look bad. I mean, you got to think we have this movement where we're like, hey, we want to be equal. We want our kids to be, not in fear of their lives going to school or not being arrested or pulled over for no reason. And you have people going out and shooting each other and, breaking into stores and graffitiing and vandalism. It's like, those are two exact opposites of what we're trying to do. So, I'm behind it, but at the same time, we gotta understand what we're here to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And I remember seeing news broadcast of the protests going on, and then I think this was in, I want to say Vegas or something like that, where there's just two people, like the police on one side, and then every protester on the other side, and then
Mm-hmm.
you just see this one guy come out of nowhere and just start pushing people into the police, just to cause riots, to cause frustration, and just to escalate things. So
Mm-hmm.
those things I'm not really for, and it's like that's also been a little bit of my caution when participating in the protests. And I know we have a pandemic going on, and in the previous recording we completely missed on. You were saying that your health is very important to you.
Hmm.
Do you have friends that have participated
Oh,
in protests?
yeah. I mean, I have a huge group of friends that have participated. They all believe in the same thing. I mean, even if they don't, I think they kind of wanted to tiptoe around the idea just to see what everyone's doing. So they would go and kind of see what everyone else is doing with these protesting.
Hmm.
But for the most part, I wish I could join. I'm like I said before, I'm not using COVID as an excuse not to. I'm just not the kind of person who um, likes violence.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
hearing about these peaceful protests and turning non-peaceful, it scares me. So I don't want to be, just another statistic, a big black guy running around
Yeah.
agitating the police officers, because we all know what that's going to turn into at the end of the day.
Yeah, unfortunately. What's your brother's thoughts, and what are your family's thoughts about what's going on?
Family. I would start with my brother. He understands what's going on. He's got, a lot of people behind him, and they're, reach out to him every day saying, sorry. It's not like sorry. It's more of like, I understand what you guys are going through. I hear you. I see it on the news. So we're on the same boat. My dad, he's 71 years old. So this isn't the first time he's seen this.
Yeah.
This is the third time he's seen this. So his opinion about it is, it's history. It's just going to repeat itself over and over again. We're gonna see the same thing a decade from now, and then maybe after that another 20 years. But eventually it will get better. But right now it seems like it's just gonna keep repeating.
Yeah, unfortunately. What have you heard from your friends that have reached out to you, and what would you like to have heard? Like, what would you like to have heard? Because you were saying that people reached out to your brother saying, like, I understand, but then there's a back thought. It's like, do you really understand? or are you just saying that to, you know, just to show support, or what are ulterior motives? Like, what would you like to have heard from your friends, and what have you heard?
Well, let's go a little bit further than that. Let's say not just friends. Let's say individuals, passing by, or people, acquaintances, or people you just meet. The one thing I have noticed are a lot more individuals reaching out, right? People I haven't heard from in 10 years. Um, and or people passing by. I had this one woman one time stop with, walking her two dogs, and she asked me a few questions like, "How's your day? How are you doing?" And then I would answer like, "Good, thank you for asking." And she's like, "I wish more people would be like us." And obviously, being a Caucasian woman, it seemed like she was reaching,
Yeah.
like as if she was doing her part into talking to a colored person.
Yeah.
That would make her, I don't know if it made her feel better or if she really cared. It's really hard to tell sometimes. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying she didn't, but it seems like more of that's happening.
Hmm.
So it's more of a face than anything else. So when you ask what would I like to hear or see, I would like to see more action than words. An individual saying, "I understand," or "I'm so sorry that this is happening to you. Thank you for the empathy. I do appreciate it. It goes a long ways." But at the same time, you don't need to cross the street when you see a black guy coming down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or you don't need to um, judge a black child wanting to be in the same class as your child. Those are more actions than words. So I do appreciate the thoughts and the wellness and everything, but at the same time, action is what's going to change in the results of everything that's going on.
Yeah, definitely. And my friend who I met in college, we worked together. We worked together at Qdoba, and he was a cook, and we became great friends. And I
Mm-hmm.
texted him. I was like, "Hey, man, I don't know what you're going through, but I'm here. I'm here to listen if you want to talk about anything." Then he asked me about if I would like to go to protest, and
Mm-hmm.
my with the pandemic going on, and then I have a little bit of an anxiety when it comes to, we talked about rioters and people that want to cause all of the destruction. That kind of triggers a little bit of anxiety. So I was like, I
Yeah,
don't think that's a good idea for me. So
I agree.
it's been hard to like, trying to find different ways to support and to show actions. There's petitions to sign and all that, and
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely it's causing a lot of change, which is stuff that needs to happen.
I agree. That statement was powerful right there. That's what I'm talking about. Change, like that is what we're looking for. So like during these protesting, it would be nice to participate, but at the same time, is it going to change
Hmm.
what's going on? Is it going to change? How people view us, how people see how we live. Is it because right now with the protesting and the rioting, that's not what people are seeing. People aren't seeing you equal. People are seeing us as violent. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And Portland recently was on the news for like CNN, Yahoo, and basically all the major news outlets because of the feds being in town.
Mm-hmm.
And as Portland is known as a predominantly white town.
Mm-hmm.
When you see the protests and you see a majority of white people there fighting, what is that? How do you feel about that?
I, I, that's such a tough question, man. Look at you. I love the love, man. I love the
Yeah.
support. I do. I'm not against that, but at the same time, is it there? Are they there to fight for justice, or are they there to show that they're not racist? You know
Hmm.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So it can be one thing. Like you and I, we went to a predominantly white school. I mean, what
Yeah.
for our nationality or just being colored, it was like what 2% compared
Yeah.
to 98. Yeah, so you understand. So when we were in, I guess you can call them cliques or groups. You have like the Asian group, and then you have the black group, and then you have the Hispanic group, and then you had everyone else, right?
Hmm.
So right now it seems like if it was high school, you have the 98% of people trying to back the 2%. So that feels great.
Yeah.
So if you understand, if we're talking about majority, especially in Oregon, the majority of individuals in Oregon are stepping up. They are showing support. they're showing love, they're showing that their majority can help support the minority, which I love. But I just hope it's for the right reasons. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. That's yeah. The whole like, are you supporting because you want to support, or are you supporting because you want to show that you're not racist? That's
Exactly. You nailed it.
that is, oh man, that's oh smacks, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What has the fitness community's support been like?
I use fitness. I mean, fitness community for me, I've noticed a lot of people, posting Black Lives Matter. I haven't seen a lot, just because the fitness community is very small.
Mhm.
Unless you go to sports like NFL, NBA, things like that, which, a few years ago, Kaepernick and all the other ones, they saw this a long time ago. It was no secret,
Mhm.
but the fact that they were suppressed and now that it's happening again and they're looking back like, oh, we messed up. Maybe he was right, maybe he was onto something and we suppressed them at that time. That's kind of what it feels like right now. So we have all these protesters and they're trying to reach out just like Kaepernick did, saying, hey, we want to be treated fairly. And in the fitness industry, I think they're using their, I guess, your network. They have a larger group of individuals that watch them on TV, so they'll be able to be a little bit more powerful in that message. I think it's fascinating, but as far it's a little bit larger than fitness. But at the same time, I hate that when an individual does use his back, like in any industry, that they shut him down. They instantly shut him down. People don't want to see it. And then, like, when they say we don't want to see it, who are those people that don't want to
Yeah.
see it? Who are those individuals that are silencing them? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's the root of all this. So if you understand why they're being silenced and why they're being, their messages aren't being broadcasted, and then you'll really understand what's going on.
Yeah, because look at NFL for example. Again, it's the owners; they're all old white dudes. So
Right.
it's like they are the ones that are, obviously I can't prove any of this, but it's like that. They're the ones that are probably having the most say to, shut it down, as they
Mm-hmm.
say. And
Mm-hmm.
so sports, we're again in the pandemic, but sports are coming back, and NBA, for example, they've had, I want to say maybe 4 or 5 games so far, and they've just
Mm-hmm.
been back since last Thursday. They've all had different ways of showing support for Black Lives Matter. What are your opinions on how the NBA is handling it?
Unfortunately, I'm not too much into NBA, so I haven't watched as much. It's just not my sport.
Yeah,
I wish I could take note on that. But recently, I just watched the Timbers play,
yeah.
so I did see that the majority of their coaches and staff wore a black shirt with yellow logo that says Black Lives Matter
Mm-hmm.
on national television. So now you have teams, local, nationwide, supporting the movement by just as simple as wearing a t-shirt. They're not mean, they're not doing anything ambitious as far as like going on a mic saying Black Lives Matter. It's more of like a statement saying, we understand, we're a part of it. I think that we all should be equal, doesn't matter what race, creed, or religion before.
Yeah, yeah. And fitness, it takes a kind of mentality to get to where you are today from when I met you back in high school.
Mm-hmm.
What has the Black Lives Matter done to your mental stability, and how have you kind of used it to, I don't know if you want to say, I don't know if like fuel your workouts, like I don't know. I'll let you answer that, but
Well,
yeah.
as much as I am raged about everything that's going on, it is upsetting, but that's not, I've been in the fitness for a long time, and my focus more is like self-improvement.
Mm-hmm.
I would say for individuals in the fitness industry, just as far as like, weightlifting, bodybuilding, CrossFit, all that stuff, it is kind of hard because it's everywhere on Instagram. So it doesn't matter like where you scroll or what you do, you're going to see some type of message that, someone's saying, some political news about Black Lives Matter. It's every day now.
Yeah.
So going from last year, even the year before, where you see like dog posts or funny cat videos or like things like that to help distract us. Now we have these, propaganda messages every day. So you can't even avoid it, So me personally, I post motivational posts like going outdoors, hiking, stay positive. We want to, hang out with each other still. I know the COVID thing is, but we still need to, connect. We need to stay together. We need to stay positive. We need to make sure that everything's going on doesn't keep us down. So that's the message I'm broadcasting on my Instagram. I try to stay away from politics just because you never know who's watching or who may have a different point of view that would be upset about it. So the one message that we can all agree on is we are all on this earth. We all can stay healthy. We can all have, great work ethics. We can all achieve something every day and just keep trucking, So that's what I do on my social media. But as far as everything else, it is a little distracting, I won't lie.
Yeah. And, with everything I've seen, so yourself and then other fitness influencers or fitness people that post on social media a lot, they are pretty frequent, and then they are pretty, always finding ways to send some message out. For you, and, talking about propaganda again, how tempting is it to put your phone down and then just go away for a bit? Like, do you absolutely, yeah.
Every day, man. That's why I hike. That's why I enjoy going outdoors. I literally, if I am within cell service, I am in the wrong place, because right now it is very nice to escape. So my goal is a hike a weekend. Sometimes I can get it in at least the weekday, but every weekend I do a hike. So.
Yeah. And then what was the idea behind the hike this morning?
The idea behind the hike this morning was just to help everyone realize that when you wake up and your eyes open and you see the sunrise, you're alive.
Yeah.
And that's a blessing. That right there alone, you're winning. It doesn't matter if you're disabled. It doesn't matter if, you lost a finger, or if your, boyfriend or girlfriend broke up with you. You woke up today, and that right there is all you need. So me doing a hike in the morning with the sunrise was trying to send a message to everyone to let them know that every day is a blessing.
Where did these messages come from? These motivational messages?
Just, personally, it comes from self-improvement. I like to be positive, and I noticed that a lot of individuals reach out to me and thank me for these messages sometimes. I mean, it's not inadvertent. Like, I don't go out and say, you need to be positive. I'm a positive person, and people feed off that. So when I'm able to just be myself, and then you get messages in your DM every day saying, dude, if it wasn't for you, I would have quit. Or if it wasn't for you, I would have never been able to, see my relationship in a different eye, or I wouldn't have been able to go to work today and smile. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So every time I get a message like that, it helps me to continue to motivate other people. So that's why I keep going.
So self-improvement, and in case you're curious, so I'm looking at, I'm taking notes. I'm being a better journalist, trying to, get all the nuggets you drop as you're talking.
Yeah.
Self-improvement and bodybuilding competitions, which you were part of, which I'll get to later. But how did this whole journey to bodybuilding and all of this like fitness, where did it come from? Because when I met you, you were not like
tiny.
This. Yeah. You also had hair, so
I did. Well, this is life. I can't get that back, but I would say my journey started, it was more of an identity thing. I was tiny my entire life. You knew me. We wrestled together. Freshman year to senior year, I was like 100 pounds.
Yep.
Didn't have a girlfriend until I graduated high school. Not that that's important or anything, but as far as like security, I wanted to be able to be more secure. And I started working at a gym, and I lifted weights, and I started gaining a little bit of weight. And I noticed that, it got a little bit more compliments, and those are always nice, right?
Yeah.
Or like,
Yeah.
you smell good, or you look good, or, things like that. People like hearing compliments.
Yeah.
And so I started continuing that journey. And how I got introduced to the bodybuilding world was an individual came up to me one day and said, "Hey man, you look really good. I think you should compete." And I was like, "Compete in what? Like life? What does that mean?" And he's like, "No, like bodybuilding." And I was like, "What is that?" He's like, "You step on stage and you wear board shorts." And I'm like, "That sounds weird, man."
Mhm.
I was like, I don't know if I like being judged. No one likes being judged. But I then realized it wasn't about being judged, but it was another avenue of a sport. And you know me, just like you, we have to be consistent in something, and we have to be good at it, just like sports. So not being able to play football again or wrestling because I wasn't as good as everyone else, I found my avenue in bodybuilding, and I was really good. So I continued doing that, and then I did a couple shows and started taking first place, and I realized, hey, this might be something. And after that, I just continued, and it just kept growing and growing and growing, and I got better and better every day. So that's really where it started.
Yeah. And then you mentioned earlier, you want to have your own identity.
Hmm.
Your brother, he's a twin brother. How
Hmm.
much of bodybuilding was just a way to separate yourself from him?
I would never want to separate myself from my
As
brother.
far as like being like, distinguishable.
So besides the way we look, because we are twins, it is very noticeable as far as the way we look. I think that my brother Jay would love to be in my shoes, and that's what I'm talking about as far as motivation. Like I did something for myself for self-improvement, and then it allows another individual to see that it is possible, like my brother Jay. If we were to stand next to each other, you wouldn't think we're siblings. He's like 140 pounds, and I'm like 230 pounds. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a whole person more than he is right now. But he has his own thing. He likes video games. He likes to go. He's more of an introvert than an
Mhm.
extrovert. So he likes to be indoors. He likes to read. Jay. That's his identity. Me, I'm an extrovert. I like to be out. I like to talk to people.
Yeah.
I like to say hi. I like to go out and do things. And so I guess that's kind of what separates us.
Yeah, the whole time I've known you, I've never seen you with a frowny face.
I know.
Never.
How are you? How can you be upset? Like, look at today. Like, look at this. This is
It's
beautiful.
right.
Like, who I who wouldn't want this?
So with your progression towards bodybuilding and just like a better physique, you
Hmm.
mentioned you're getting compliments. You got a girlfriend following high school.
Hmm.
The, oh gosh, how do I want to say this? Because I know for myself, when I felt like I was getting stronger, I was looking better. I
Hmm.
felt like women were noticing me more.
Hmm.
What does that do to your kind of mental stability, and how much does it help you? Or maybe, I don't want to say too egotistical, or just how much
Oh,
like
it's
does it
very good.
boost? How much does it boost your mentality every time you go into a workout, when knowing that, oh, maybe I can gain more attention?
So, uh, so that's an interesting question. I started working out not to gain, attraction from the opposite sex, but at the same time, it is nice. I
Yeah.
did it for myself. I did it for myself because I like the feeling when I go to work out. I like the pain. I like the way, the growth, the development. I like it all. Um, Getting compliments is a plus. It is great. It does feed into it. It does. I mean, like when you walk into a room and you are noticeably the most fit and athletic person in the room, it's nice. People like, think of it this way: like you when you are able to put a lot of effort into yourself, whether it's mentally, physically, or emotionally stable, you are able to control yourself a lot more. So going into a room, people actually look up to you. You know what I mean? You're noticed. Your presence is noticed, and that's why I do it. I like to be able to let people know that when I walk into a room, that I'm not someone to mess with. You know what I mean? Like if I'm in sales, I'm going
Mhm.
into sales, you coming to me for something, we're negotiating. I'm not going to let you over negotiate me. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
I'm going to be the one to, are you still there?
Yeah,
Sorry, I just got a call.
that's okay.
I'm going to be the one to make the decisions. You know what I mean? So like when you say like how does it help you? It helps me in life. It helps me in work. It helps me at home. It helps me physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, all the above.
Yeah. And so we ran into each other fairly recently. That's how I got back in contact with you when we were both at the gym. I think it was a morning workout or maybe a late night workout. I can't remember. But
Yeah.
I just remember seeing it and I'm just like, holy God. How
That's not
often?
him.
That's not him. No way. How often, let's say you're at the gym, and how
Mhm.
often do people approach you and try to pick your brain about workouts?
There's a few, the brave ones we call them. Some people are very intimidated just by the way I look, which I don't mind because I love just getting a workout in.
Yeah.
But there are some individuals that will come up and say, "Hey, man, what do you do?" And I do. I give them my number. I said, "Hey, look, I'll give you as much information as I can give you. I'll help you through whatever you're looking for. Answer any questions you have." But for the most part, it's a lot. It's probably every day.
Mhm.
And then, like you said, just like when we ran into each other, I have people that I've known for 10, 15 years that come up to me like, wow, you've really changed. And
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, you look the same. So like, I would hate to be the person like on the other end, like just stagnant. I don't want to be stagnant in life. So that's just always a great thing for me to be able to have something to focus on that makes me better every day, so that you can change, you can develop yourself, and that's something I do.
So you were Sunset High School graduating class of, I want to say, was it 2008?
Yeah, well, you're good,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. So 2 years ago would have been your 10-year anniversary.
Hmm.
How much with that mindset of like wanting to always self-improve, when you went into that room where you guys had your reunion, how
Uh-huh.
much were you like, okay, I feel good about where I am in life right now?
Really good. Really good. Well, you gotta think of it this way, man. I'm 29 years old. I've got no obligations as far as like I have no kids.
Mhm.
I have no car payments. I've got I'm renting right now, so I have no mortgage. Financially stable. I'm pretty set. Like I feel really good where I'm at. And then when you walk into a room and you see all your friends and they're like beer bellies and they're like children and all that stuff, and like some of them even look unhappy, and you're like, oh man, I would have never pictured these guys from high school, you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
unhappy. I mean, I see like a lot of people, don't get me wrong, man. Like Ben Novak, you remember Ben?
Yep.
I see his Instagram and he is in a good place. He's got a great wife. They've been together for God knows how long.
Yeah.
And that those are things I like to see as far as
Mhm.
like, friends. But then you have other friends who are kind of the same. The ones that went to parties and the ones that were like king at beer pong, and that hasn't changed. And I couldn't imagine myself there. You know what I mean? I couldn't imagine myself still with the same mentality of high school. So it is good.
Yeah, it's definitely something I always think about too. When I was supposed to have my 10 year back in June, but obviously with COVID, it got shut down. So we're
I'm sorry,
pushing it.
man.
We're pushing it, I think, to like next year. So it's like, oh,
Okay.
11 year anniversary. That's
Something
cool.
new.
That's something new. Some part of me always, maybe it is the competitor from high school sports where I'm just like, okay, if I have a month before this reunion, I'm gonna work my ass off and I'm gonna look as great as I can and then show up to everyone and be like, I feel great. Unfortunately, you have a beer belly, but I still want to talk to you. So let's
Yeah.
talk about how I can motivate you to get back into shape. So going, everything going back to full circle.
That's literally why I have social media. So everyone always comes up to me and asks me, like I meet them at the store, I run into them randomly, and they're like, "Oh man, I follow you on social media. You look so great. Like, how do you do it? What do you do? What makes you stay so positive and what makes you stay so fit?" And and at the end of the day, it's I just tell them for myself.
Hmm.
And a lot of people really put themselves last. It's you'd be surprised, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. In some sense, it's good.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to be able to take care of anyone else.
That's
Does
true.
that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
let's say your health goes, you can't take care of your dad, you can't take care of your mom, you can't take care of your brother or your friends. If your money goes, you can't take care of anyone. So when you focus on yourself and build yourself up first, not only does it show that you can put yourself first before anyone else, but it also shows that you're strong enough to be able to support yourself and then support other people. And I think that's what people are missing. I think
Mhm.
they're striving to be so perfect in like taking care of their kids and doing well at their job that they forget to focus on themselves, and sometimes that's why their careers don't advance.
Yeah. And trying to I came out of a relationship in February, and
Mm-hmm.
I noticed, obviously the ex made it abundantly clear. It's like you're putting too much into me, not enough into yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So, taking what you just said, it's like I'm doing this podcast so I can push myself to always be better because, this is fun. This is
I
great.
love that,
I get
man.
to reconnect with you. So it's like
Dude,
this.
seeing your face is great, man. I'm like, man, I just want to be next to you right now. I just want to like give you a hug. It's been so long.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. When things get a little more steady and you're comfortable with it, yeah, we'll meet up after, and then we'll meet up in person. But
for sure.
this interview's not done yet, though. We're jumping ahead a little bit.
Sorry, my bad.
So this mind towards physical health and mind towards improvement and always like striving to be a better you.
Hmm.
In high school, I developed some of those traits from playing football. Football, it's a grinded out sport, but you get great discipline because of the work you put in. Wrestling, I got self discipline because obviously with food you got to be really strict on yourself and you got to really push yourself to the limit to
Hmm.
make a weight. What characteristics do you attribute high school sports to?
High school is everything, man. I didn't play sports in middle school. I didn't play anything before that. I actually didn't even know much about sports. But when I was introduced to football and wrestling, it showed consistency, and that's really key to everything. It showed like, but the thing is, an individual, our coach, pushed us to
Mhm.
get that to that spot. Like we weren't going to do that on our own.
No.
If Coach Rice is like, "Hey, you need to do 150 burpees," but he wasn't there, we wouldn't have done it.
We would have just walked away.
Oh, we would have. Practice is over. We're out. Like. But the fact that we had an individual that sat there and distilled what it takes to be the best into us, that is something that we will never forget. you know and it doesn't matter about sports, like that's not something that we carry on to be athletic. I'm talking about like just the mentality of how to be better. You always have to push yourself, and if it wasn't for high school sports, I probably would have never learned that.
Yeah, and it's also a common factor to talk to with people because we just
Hmm.
hired a new guy in my work, and he's a former wrestler, and I just talked to him about like the crap we had to go through.
Oh.
It was so it was so crappy.
It was terrible, but it made you who you are today, though, right?
That is true. That is
Yeah.
true. And when you so with fitness, obviously you need to have a good diet plan. Now,
Hmm.
when you are on a diet and we've experienced in high school wrestling where we've made weight. Now let's go get Popeye's chicken. So,
Right.
what do you? How far into that well of like I can finally eat do you dive when it comes to like your cheat days?
Oh, so I'm not normal when it comes to like food. I'm blessed to have a significantly fast metabolism, so I shouldn't speak on this. But when it does come to like a strict diet, like let's say I'm competing, and you have to count your macros and your micros, like your carbs ratio, your protein ratio, and you only get one cheat day. I am very disciplined. Like I no sugar, no alcohol, no artificial flavoring or anything like that. And so when it comes to cheat meals, like my cheat meals are always going to be sushi or cheeseburgers. That's it. I don't know what it is, man. I love sushi. and I love cheeseburgers. So
Yeah.
if there's a day where I can like go hard, I'm going hard.
So Dwayne Johnson is he did WWE or WWF, and then he became a bodybuilder, or he didn't become a
Hmm.
bodybuilder, but his mentality towards fitness from his wrestling days carried on with him, and
Hmm.
look at him now. But
Look at him.
ooh, he always posts these epic cheat meals, and
Hmm.
that it's filled with like 5 pizzas and like sushi galore.
Hmm.
Some part of your mind are like, I could do that.
I
No.
couldn't eat that much food. No, that man's a beast. I mean, look at him. He was like 6'5", 260 pounds. Like that, that's a man. Like but the thing is, when you see him post those things, he really is eating those calories.
Yeah.
Like he eats like that stack of pancakes picture. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
He ate that whole thing.
He did. He
Yeah,
did.
he
But
did.
he also has his own gym with him that he can
Oh
kind of
yeah.
carry around, and
Is
you
it
know,
like Iron Paradise?
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So it's like it's like extremely like shocking to see that, but it's also like
Mm-hmm.
he puts in the work all
Mm-hmm.
day. So it
Mm-hmm.
does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So when you went into bodybuilding and kind of get into that world, I assume it's not a very it's very expensive, not cheap.
Oh no, it's not.
What was that support system like to get you into that world,
Oh
both
man.
financially and like emotionally? Say,
I would say, with all the previous relationships I've had, it was a lot of support. I mean, they understood what it takes to be the best, and I've had individuals like help me prep my meals. I've had individuals like help with cutting cost for competing, or cutting costs for grocery shopping. I mean, like when I was at my peak in like 2015, when I went to Vegas, like my grocery bill was like $200 a week.
ooh,
That's taxing. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not saying like individuals need to spend that much money, but it does require a lot of sacrifice. You're having multiple gym memberships. You can't just have one. You need a 24, a Crunch, and a Planet Fitness, because one might be closed, or if you're traveling, you need to be able to have a location to go to. So as far as cost, it is very expensive and very taxing. And I am glad to have had the people in my life at the time when competing that has helped me. And the individuals that haven't helped me obviously are no longer with me. So you got to put yourself first.
bye.
Exactly.
So, did you have any sponsorships or any like company
Yes,
back you? What was
I
that
did.
feeling like when they relieve that financial stress on you?
I had a couple gyms sponsor me. I had a couple actually national judges sponsor me. What they would pay for cost for traveling, they would pay for cost for hotel. I had a sponsorship with Waffle Window. They would
Ooh.
pay for, yeah, I know, right? Who would have thought? They would pay for a lot of my expenses as far as like supplements and traveling and things like that, gas. It was nice. I encourage a lot of people, if they're trying to get into this industry, to strive for a sponsorship. At first, it's going to take a lot of uh, financial stress on yourself. Like you have to get yourself to a point to where people do recognize you, which is it's gonna suck. You're gonna be broke for a little bit, but once you do get recognized, it is amazing. And then financially, you're like, oh, I'm so glad I stuck to it. You got to put in the work first.
Yeah, just like everything that you're very passionate about, you gotta hit rock bottom before you can get back to skyrocket top.
You got to know what it is like to feel at the bottom before you know what success feels like. Exactly.
Yes. So I've hit rock bottom a couple of times from these past relationships. I've been very vocal about it, and it's helped me grow into where I am today. From your time being broke, trying to get into the bodybuilding world, what kind of characteristics did you develop that you did not know you had?
It sucks being broke. No, it does help you realize how much stress you can take. I would say, you know, not that I wanted to be put in that position, because obviously I chose to, but at the same time, you can get through anything. I'm telling you, like every day you wake up, you should be able to recognize that it doesn't matter what life throws at you, you're gonna get through it. Is it gonna take some time? Yeah. Are you gonna have to lick some wounds? Of course. But you will get through it, and you become better and stronger emotionally and physically every day from it. So I encourage people to challenge themselves. I tell them all the time, like, if you're feeling comfortable, like today, like, I don't need to go to the gym, or I don't need to do better at work, or I'm not going to start a business, or I'm not going to do this because I'm comfortable. You're in the wrong place.
Mm-hmm.
You need to challenge yourself. I'm not saying go broke. I'm not saying go to the casino and gamble all your money. And that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying sometimes in life, you do need to take chances, and sometimes those chances don't work out. But at the end of the day, you learn something about yourself, and that is something that no one can take away from you. Like, that is, I challenge people to at least go out and try something new. Try something that scares them. Try something that they didn't think they could do, and see what happens.
Yeah, I've been trying to adapt that mindset also, with, I was never a big, this is obviously not to the extent of getting broke, but it's like, I was never a big reader.
Uh-huh.
I struggle with it just because, I don't know, my brain wants to do something else. So, I challenged myself to finish a book, and now I'm like 40 pages away, but I've also been working on this book for a while because I took a little break. So what? So what? So you retired from bodybuilding on April 1st, 2019. Tell me about the decisions that went into retirement.
Oh, I never retired. That was a fake post.
Okay.
That was a joke. I no. So when I posted that, actually, I mean, you're not wrong. It was kind of right. At that point in my life, it was more of like taking a step back and realizing that there's other things in life than just bodybuilding. I mean, it was a big part of my life for a long time. So that post was more of like, it was a joke, but at the same time, it helped me realize that I need to focus on other things at the same time. I made the post to see people's reactions, just to see, like, oh, Justin's not bodybuilding anymore. What's he gonna do in life? I mean, that's all he knows.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was more motivation for me too, because I wanted to see how many people would think I wouldn't make it,
Oh.
or how many people think that I actually quit. Because that there's nothing more motivating in life than being able to prove someone wrong.
What was the worst reaction? What was the best reaction you got?
The best reaction was an individual of mine commented, shut the hell up. We know you didn't quit. And I was like, you're right. The worst reaction was the several people that actually believed it. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't quit in anything unless it needs to happen. Like, there's some things that, you're not good at. Yeah. I'm not good at drawing. I'm not going to pursue a field in being an artist. We just know that. I don't know if you've ever heard me sing. I'm terrible.
Well,
so I'm never going
to need to hear you sing soon.
You don't want me. You don't hear me sing. But to my point, there was a lot of people who actually did believe that. And that was like kind of tragic. It's like, yeah, he's like, there was like, congratulations. I had someone reach out and say, good for you. And I'm like, why would that be good? So that was kind of like upsetting, but it is what it is.
So when I saw that, obviously I didn't read the comments, but I just took it as, I have a couple friends, ex-coworkers that did do bodybuilding, and then they stopped because it was doing some damage on their bodies. So like, for those reasons, I was like, okay, I understand. Either that or like the life was too taxing. So when I saw that post, I was like, okay, well, he must be, ready to move on to something else, or just be ready to like give his body a break.
Right.
Was that at all? No?
Not the case.
Not the case.
I'm healthy. I have no injuries. I have no like arthritis. I no pain anywhere. I'm probably an anomaly when it comes to individuals in the bodybuilding world, because it is very taxing on your body, and like you said, and taxing on your relationship. But luckily, I'm in a place to where I can actually pursue it. So I'm definitely going to keep going.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. And obviously there's probably no competitions going on right now with COVID.
No, there are some actually.
Oh.
Yeah, there are some. So individuals still need to wear masks.
Okay.
They're very limited in space, but there are some in California still going on, believe it or not, out of all the places. I don't know if they're doing it in Florida, but the season did not end. I don't know what they're going to do for the world bodybuilding, like Mr. Olympia. I haven't heard any news yet, but it is still going on.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I mean, so my brother, he's still into WWE, and I watch it with him once in a while. Yeah, they're still performing, and they're like,
Mm-hmm.
that's you're literally flying. You're throwing yourself on top of another person. It's like
Yeah.
that eliminates social distancing.
It like, what's the
100%.
point? Yeah.
100%.
How are they getting away with this?
Exactly. So, is there when you went into this world, was there a bodybuilder that you idolized other than Arnold Schwarzenegger?
I would say individuals that I idolize. I liked I liked more of local bodybuilders than anything. Like people that inspired me were people I can actually physically see in person,
Mm-hmm.
and it's more of their character. I idolize Moose, which I don't know if you know him, but he owns a gym here in Oregon called Willpower. He actually was an individual who has helped me grow in the world of bodybuilding a lot. I mean, he showed me techniques that I would have never known without talking to him. He saw me, he would see me work out, and he would come and correct me when I'm doing something wrong. You know, he takes the time out of his day
Yeah.
to come tell me to like stop doing what I was doing and do it this way. You know what I mean? Like, hey, dude.
Come on, man.
And that to me was very powerful because, you know, I was what, when I first started, 18, 19, and for a man to stop training and or doing what he's doing to make himself better, to help another individual make themselves better, meant so much to me. And that's literally what I'm trying to do for everyone else now. There was another individual, Matt Porter. I don't know if you know him, but he's recently passed away. But he was huge in the bodybuilding world, and he has helped me succeed a lot. So those are the two people I would say that I look up to in the bodybuilding world. If there was anyone else like higher, Ronnie Coleman, hands down, hands
Yep.
down. I mean, genetically gifted, yes, but the amount of work that he put in to become where he's at, it's unbelievable. No one's done what he's done.
Yeah. I've seen a bunch of workout videos. I think, yeah, I've seen one with Ronnie Coleman. Then I also saw one with Mike O'Hearn.
Yes.
I've seen him, and he's kind of a goofball too. So, and you know, it kind of goes into yourself. You know, you're still a goofball, or just a giant or goofball.
That's it. Just a bigger kid.
Just a bigger kid.
That's it.
What is this stereo? Like, how would you? So there are, you know, when we talked earlier about people at the gym approaching you to get, you know, your advice, you know, there's those brave ones. What stereotypes do you wish would be broken when it comes to a big guy working out in the gym?
Dude, you want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
So I was with my friend. Do you remember Connie Lou?
Yes. Yeah.
Sound familiar? Yeah, I
Yeah.
was just with her the other day. We were watching a game, and we were talking about something, and she said, "Yeah, I was with my friend." And I asked her, I was like, you know, because I don't know what the topic was, but I was like, "How did you describe me to your friend?" And she said, "You know, the big black bodybuilder." And I was like, "What?" But the funny part is, her friend was like, "Oh yeah, I know who that is."
Dang it.
So it's like that's like it's something that people know me as. So that's like the connotation, like the big black guy. But you know, it's okay. It's fine. I'm not. It doesn't hurt me because I like being big. I'm very blessed to be black.
Mhm.
And but as far as negative connotations, like I hate when people, you know, think you do like steroids. Like they're like, "Oh, he must be roiding out. There's no way he could be that big naturally." Or I hate the ones where like, he must be angry all the time because he doesn't smile at the gym. It's like, no, I'm just here to work out, you know.
Yeah.
But then you have people who understand your pursuit, and they understand how much work goes into it, and they come up to you and show you respect. They're like, "Dude, you look great. Like, keep going. It's like, don't stop. Like, how do I get to where you're at?" And so you get best of both worlds. You know, like nothing you can do about it, but it does definitely comes with the territory.
Yeah. And sometimes you just gotta embrace those stereotypes. Like, you know, I don't really, I never grew up getting insulted or like strongly insulted when someone like throws a stereotype at me, like, "Oh, you're
Hmm.
Asian. You must be good with numbers and calculators. So here's a calculator." I'm like, I've okay, cool.
Thanks. Yeah, what do I do?
Just shrug it off.
That's
I
funny.
think the fact that you're embracing the big black guy
Hmm.
stereotype, that again speaks to your personality, and that's freaking awesome, man. It's like
Right?
you can't harm me with your words because they're just words.
That's it. At the end of the day, they didn't say anything to you that you don't believe. If you believe it, then that's on you.
Hmm.
But if you're having someone insult you, or maybe not insult, but use words to describe you, and you think that that's who you are, then that's the problem.
Hmm.
I know who I am. How people describe me is how they describe me, and if they know who I am based off that, that's fine. But at the end of the day, I know what I need to achieve. I know how I can help other people achieve, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. So as we wrap this up, is there a body competition that you are looking to get into? I know, I understand again, COVID. It's kind of hard to like really plan
Hmm.
anything, but are you prepping for anything? Or are you just working out to just stay in shape?
I Right now I'm bouncing back from quarantine. So as you know, all the gyms have been closed for like 4 or 5 months.
Hmm.
I didn't have access to any gym during that time, like a home gym or like a friend's gym. So I was literally seldom for 4 or 5 months. I gained like 15 pounds of unnecessary weight, maybe even 20. And I lost so much muscle mass.
Yeah.
So right now, I'm not really focusing on a show, but more of like just getting back to where I was. And then
Yeah.
I'll consider doing something.
Yeah. How are the gyms right now with
It's
their
interesting.
ways of handling COVID?
So there are some gyms that consider no requirement for a mask because it is strenuous activity. So
Hmm.
you can go in the gym and they still have a capacity. It's like 100 depending on the square foot. And there's some gyms that you do have to wear a mask. My gym, you're required to wear a mask. And I tell you what, it is so hard to work out with a mask. I'm not against COVID or anything. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
saying like I don't want to wear it. I'm saying, man, it is difficult to breathe when you're pushing 315 pounds off your chest.
A little
It's,
bit.
yeah, I'm like, I just want some oxygen right now. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a huge change for me. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, so in April I was running a whole lot and ended up doing like over 80 miles. People fan of the podcast, they know this because I'm very vocal about it. But yeah, so I'd run like up to 80 miles in April, and then my mom would be like, "Are you wearing a mask when running?" It's like, "Mom, I have asthma and I need all the air I can get."
I
So
need it all.
I am not, unfortunately. And then yeah, and then I see people like walking opposite side of the street, and then social distancing is pushing them into the street. I was like,
Hmm.
what do you no, just hug the grass or just wait till I pass, but just don't put yourself in danger to just make sure you're being safe. It's like it doesn't
Right.
make sense.
It doesn't make sense at all.
And then you mentioned in the beginning that you are in sales. How has the sales business been with COVID? And or is this a stopgap job, or what are you planning for?
No, my industry is residential. So I'm an assistant property manager for the Collective on 4th. It's a brand new high rise downtown. We just opened in December. I would say for the community, as far as anyone like renting out apartments, it is very difficult. There's a lot of properties that are struggling right now just because nobody wants to move right now. Nobody wants to go to an apartment with tons of people. So I don't know what they're doing. I can't tell you. I can't tell you. Like, people need a place to live, so I don't know why they're not renting.
Yeah.
But it is definitely there's a huge deficit in sales as far as that part. For our community, we actually seen an uptick.
Oh,
We gained probably 21% in residents just from the start of this around February. Isn't that
wow.
crazy? Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't know what everyone else is doing, but I
Yeah.
know we're good. Yeah.
Yeah. My one of my partners at my job, he just moved houses too. So my
Hmm.
mind's like, why? Don't you want to wait till this is over? But and I don't know if you remember David Rodriguez.
Yeah, I just ran into
Yeah.
him the other day.
Yeah, so he is officially back in Portland, and he just moved in from Bend, and his apartment's nice just because his apartment complex is giving him 2 free months of rent because of COVID.
Wow.
So it's like, wow.
Where does he live? I'm going to move there tomorrow. 2 free
he
months.
he's in downtown and he's one of the nicer buildings too. So it's
Okay.
like, wow, yeah, that's fantastic. I'm happy for him, and he's actually going to be a guest on the show sometime soon. But
Oh, I can't wait to watch that.
I told him you're going to be a guest, and he freaked out. He was like, "What? That's awesome!"
I love it, man.
So Justin, do you want to plug your Like, would you like to plug wherever your social medias and anything like that, or
Sure.
give a quick shout out to anyone?
Shout out to you for being so amazing. Obviously, the best host I've ever met. My Instagram or my handle is J, the letter, then Jones, 2fit, the number 2, FIT. Feel free to follow me. I mean, if you are someone who wants to be inspired or challenged or, have any questions, you can DM me. If you don't, then, don't need to follow me. Yeah, no, I appreciate you hitting me up, man. This is great. We just definitely need to reconnect.
Yes.
I see you doing your thing, man. Like, you're really doing this. This is awesome.
Really get into the swing of it too. Like, I always find little tweaks here and there. Like, if I were to watch the first episode or listen to the first episode again, I would probably cringe very hard because I'm like, oh God, what is going on? But yeah, it's always a work in progress. These 2 banners right behind me, I literally just add them in that hour and a half you needed to get your workout in.
Yes. Little stage prop. I love it.
Gotta add something to the blank canvases to, give a little more dimensions.
I love it. This is great, man. You got a little setup. I like the mic. You probably just got that. That's awesome.
Got this for a little bit. So, I'm trying to look official. And once we start doing, I think once I start doing guest in-house, it's going to be a whole different setup. But until then, it's like,
can't wait.
Let's rock and roll.
Yes.
All right, Justin Jones, thank you again so much. This was fantastic. I'm very excited to have this time to talk with you and just see, just catch up with you and get back to, reconnecting and having fun and just living life.
Yes, sir. That's what it's all about, man. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Thank you for sticking around to the end of the interview. Do you have any follow-up questions for the guest? Throw them in the comments below, then I'll work to get them answered for you. If you like what you heard and you want to listen to more episodes, go ahead and follow Keoni Chats on Spotify and iTunes. If you want a video version, go ahead and subscribe on YouTube. And if you want to stay connected when I'm not posting things, as far as blog posts or podcast, go ahead and follow us on Instagram, the KC Media 13 handle. And then you can also like and follow the Facebook page of Conluke Media, which is also KC Media. And if you want to become a guest, go ahead and message me those on those platforms. Or you can email me at kcmedia13@yahoo.com. I'll get you scheduled. Let's connect. Let's have a chat. So until the next episode, everyone please take care.